this video, I'm going to share with you the most important skill you'll ever learn in your life. A skill that I believe is absolutely necessary in today's world, but still it's something the vast majority of people lacks. This is a life skill that nobody teaches you in school, but once mastered, it can completely transform your life. The French philosopher Blaise Pascal said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." It's a line repeated so frequently in the era of social media, which makes it so hard to believe that he wrote it in the 17th century. According to Pascal, we fear being alone. We fear boredom. And instead facing our fears, we choose pointless distraction, running from our true selves. So, the only skill we need to learn in our life is mastering the art of solitude. The best word to describe today's way of life is connectedness. Our lives are ruled by technology, from the smartphone to the computer to the TV to the internet. We have found hundreds of ways to communicate with nearly anyone across the world, no matter where we are at the moment. Despite all the benefits of the internet and the technology, we can also notice the downsides which are beginning to show. And I'm not talking about privacy issues, crime or addiction, but I'm talking about even more harmful side effect here. Disconnectedness means that we're connected to everything else except ourselves. So why be alone when you never have to? With so many things to do, you don't have to be alone ever again. But the problem is that never being alone doesn't mean never feeling alone. We always try to suppress the feeling of loneliness by being connected and busy all the time. The issue at the core is that we never learn the art of solitude. Being alone and connecting with ourselves is a skill nobody ever teaches us. That's absurd because it's more important than any other skill we are taught in school. Solitude should not be confused with isolation or negative state of mind, because it is actually a conscious choice to be alone. It's a disconnection from the chaos of life, which allows us to reconnect with ourselves in the silence, to grow, to be better, and to do better in life. For solitude to be beneficial, certain preconditions must be met. Kenneth Rubin, a developmental psychologist at the University of Maryland, calls them the ifs. So solitude can be productive only if the following conditions are met. Solitude must be voluntary. One must be able to regulate one's emotions effectively. One must be able to join a social group when desired. One must have the ability to maintain positive relationships outside of it. If these conditions are met, the solitary experience can be very productive. But if these conditions aren't met, yes, solitude can be harmful and can take us into isolation, into a lonely and dark emptiness. Pascal's statement may be truer today than ever according to science. Psychology professor Timothy Wilson and his colleagues conducted a series of 11 studies which found that people generally do not enjoy being alone. The participants had a different background, ranging in age from 18 to 77. Wilson asked participants to spend anywhere from 6 to 15 minutes alone in a comfortable room that contained no external stimuli. The idea was to provide a thinking period in which participants could entertain themselves solely with whatever flitted through their minds. The researchers gave the participants the option of administering a mild electric shock to themselves by pressing a button. Surprisingly, 2/3 of men and a quarter of women were so miserable that they gave themselves at least one electric shock during the thinking period. One man opted for a shock even 190 times. The study found that people generally prefer not to disengage from the world, and when they do not particularly enjoy it. Most would be rather doing something, possibly even hurting themselves, than doing nothing or sitting alone with their thoughts. The only way to face the fear of boredom is to make time, whether every day or every week, to just sit with your thoughts and feelings with a moment of stillness. People who practice the art of solitude consider it as important as exercise or healthy eating. So start by disconnecting. Disconnect from the internet, turn off your computer, your phone, everything that connects you with others. The point is to be away from social interactions and to look inward. Then find a quiet space only for you and your thoughts. You can find such space at home or somewhere in nature, it doesn't matter. And the only thing left to do is to accept the silence and embrace the time being alone. Listen to your inner voice, enjoy your own company. Being together with ourselves and knowing ourselves is one of the most precious gifts of life. When we are purely connected internally, we can find the answers we seek to our most important questions. Those answers are not found outside of ourselves. They can only be found within, in solitude. When you have these moments of solitude, don't fight it, don't resist it, and accept it for what it is. Your time alone should not be something that you're afraid of. Productive solitude requires internal exploration, which can be uncomfortable, even unacceptable. It might take a little bit of work before it turns into an enjoyable experience, but once it does, it becomes perhaps the most important relationship anybody ever has, the relationship you have with yourself. Experiencing solitude may not be the solution to everything in life, but it can definitely make a change for the better. There are so many benefits from solitude, so here are just a few reasons for spending time alone. Solitude provides time for you to think deeply. It gives you an opportunity to discover yourself and find your own voice. It protects your mental health. Solitude helps you work through problems more effectively. It improves concentration and increases creativity and productivity. It increases empathy, which enhances the quality of your relationships with others. Solitude makes you appreciate little things in life. How often do you spend time alone? Do you fear it or enjoy it? I'd like to hear some of the ways you practice the art of solitude in your life, so let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you next time.